if you read through Neville's literature, one of the things that he references is that he doesn't believe in death. So it has come up before on this channel by way of a few comments here and there written in the videos of who are you talking to if Neville didn't even believe in death? And quite honestly, it's been an interesting relationship or interaction that we've had around the comments that have come in, and taking those comments to Neville and him pointing out some really beautiful truths, which is that everything that is in your reality from the law of assumption, everything that is in your reality is because it is you pushed out. And when things are in your reality that don't feel great or feel like a constriction or something that's different than
or a judgy comment or a judgy comment
via a judgy comment, you can look at it as simply they're all just arrows pointing back at you. So
and your self-concept and your fears and your limiting beliefs.
Yes, and the reason that as humans we do this is because we have all of these different parts of us. We have the entire universe, all knowledge, all things inside of us, but it's very difficult for us to move up in the ascension process to evolve as humans from the internal. So we take these parts that are in us and we externalize them. Neville refers to this as the characters in the play, right? That we say, oh, you're going to play this part and you're going to play this part and you're going to play this part, that we are the director, we're the lead role, we're all the things, and we are the ones who are saying, and you be the villain and you be the, you hold this part. And so, one of the things that came up in Channeling Neville was how best should we handle, as, YouTube channels always have, you have the naysayers, you have the people who want to argue or bring up very valid points, but they do it from this sort of force of, that's not true. Neville didn't even believe in death is one of the things. And so he mentioned, this, one of his books that references the fourth dimension, and how when we do move into this higher understanding that everything that is us pushed out, that we can actually dissolve the physicality entirely. And so he references living from the fourth dimension. So the way that he explained this, and it makes perfect sense, is
by the way, this is you talking right now, not Neville. This is you reiterating a conversation you had with him
earlier today.
Okay, correct. I just want to be clear, because some people I think maybe don't understand, when am I talking to Michelle, what is Neville?
Okay, so when I am channeling Neville, when he's talking to me and I'm doing a direct relationship, I often have my eyes closed. It's a slightly different tone. I will bring him in. It will always show in the video, okay, he's coming in now. So this is me referencing a conversation that I had with him earlier today as we were talking about what would this video today hold. And so the way that I am speaking to Neville is from another dimension, because as he said, he doesn't believe in death. What he meant is that we have a physical existence. The physical existence comes and it goes. But who we are as soul beings, as creators, does not go away. It simply changes form.
And are we always the same person, or are there different iterations of ourselves?
We are a soul that shows up as different expressions in the different lifetimes. So the Neville that I am talking to shows up with the persona of Neville Goddard, even though his soul is not just Neville Goddard. His soul is many iterations, thousands and thousands and thousands of iterations. However, what is interesting is, when I've asked him recently, why did you come through? Why is this interesting to you? And he said, because I know more now. I have more to say. I have more understanding than the Neville did. And he references the book, I think it's called Out of This Universe, about how he's referencing only the fourth dimension. So he's referencing multidimensional existence, but simply from the fourth dimension, when in actuality he's saying there are so many dimensions, and he's saying you're actually pulling more from the fifth dimension than the fourth. He's saying now he's understanding much more, now we understand. He is of all knowledge, as we are all of all knowledge. It's just how much are we able to set aside our analytical overlay in order to access that. So what I am doing as a medium is what is an ability that all people can have, which is learning how to become a clear channel, learning how to set aside the analytical mind in order to access other dimensions and beings from other dimensions, as well as all universal wisdom.
So you actually have done some biofeedbacking where you have put certain equipment on your head, and you've been able to show on a computer, and maybe we should do that again, how quickly you're able to drop into theta, which maybe some would call a gift.
So I've had the brain scans done years ago, and what it showed is that I'm going into theta brainwave state every time I blink. So if I close my eyes, I'm just instantly or almost instantaneously in theta state. That's what allows me to do my work, to when I'm doing readings for people and I'm in their Akashic records, I'm able to be in two locations at the same time. I'm in the eighth dimension, I'm in their Akashic records, and I'm here talking at the same time. This is called bilocating. Interestingly, Neville references bilocating in his literature, that being in two places at the same time is a very real, aspect that people can learn, this bilocating. So it's when you are doing, let's say, astral travel, you're going into a meditative state, then you're going to a particular place. Bilocating is that you can be here in this reality talking at the same time as you are somewhere else, and you can hold both at the same time. And that really is what moving into the highest degree of the law of assumption is, where you can run the imaginals at the exact same time that you're in life. And that can happen from being able to hold these different realities where the thinking state and the feeling state come together as to others. When you are doing the law of assumption, as Neville says, tell no man. This is a very important piece. I believe you've had experiences where, as you moved originally into the law of assumption and what one of your goals was, you had the people around you saying, we're worried about you, we think you're delusional, and that is what this presents as to people who don't understand these concepts. They're really, really unusual and so divergent from what we are taught. And then there's this is even a step further from that. There's people who are, so attached to Neville's books that they've taken many of the things in there, the verbiage, so literally, like one of the comments of, well, if he doesn't believe in death, you're not channeling him, when in actuality, I'm channeling him from another dimension. What he was referencing is that we are in all dimensions. The physical form goes away, but the other dimensions exist still. Another comment that we've gotten is he didn't believe in astrology, he didn't believe in tarot cards, he didn't believe in psychic mediums. That's lumping a psychic medium into a category of like going to someone to look into a crystal ball and having someone outside of you tell you how to live your life. He wasn't saying he doesn't believe in multidimensional existence. He wasn't saying that we can't. What I do, anybody has the potential to be able to do. So what he was saying is, don't look outside of yourself. Now, here's the caveat. Here's one of the things Neville is saying now that I have channeled, is whatever construct works for you that helps you get to that which you desire is yours to use. If you want to use a ball of yarn and unwind it to the left, to the right, do whatever you want with it, and that
or helps. Or
a pendulum. If that is what helps bring your desires into fruition, you get to. So Neville's saying that he didn't believe in astrology or he didn't believe in tarot is not saying that all people need to turn away from that. What he was saying is, you need to know that every single thing is you. Every single thing is part of who you are, and you are tapping into the all. And you get to use whatever you want, whatever tools those may be. What he was saying is, don't think that this thing is separate from you and that it has any agency over you. You are the all. You are God. And that doesn't mean children of God. It means all of God. You are the creator. Right now, we're basically often unconscious creators. You can be the conscious creator, though.
But, well...
Okay. All right. Okay, so do you feel like I covered the psychic medium thing enough?
I do.
Okay, so
I think what you just said is that everyone has these abilities.
Can do this.
This is just your story and how you play in your world.
And I've learned how to loosen up that analytical overlay.
Yes.
Is it recording?
It is.
Okay, good. All right. So, regarding the Neville doesn't, or this has come up a few times.
When you say or when people say, "Oh, Neville doesn't believe in psychics," he was a psychic. He literally astral traveled.
Right. And that's what he's...
So he would be referred to as a psychic, the ability to communicate with others between worlds.
Yes.
So what you're doing is just actually high-level, multi-dimensional travel.
And Neville has said, I'm using you as what I used to use the typewriter. He's like, I used to use the typewriter to communicate and bring through that which I was channeling. Now I'm using you as the channel to continue to bring through more knowledge. Now, everyone is us pushed out. How is it then is Neville me? Yes, we are all each other. We can pull. We are all simply expressions of the same all. Mm-hmm. So I can tap into him. I can tap into trees, as we all can. It's just it's the level to which you have deconstructed the analytical mind enough to become a clear channel for this information to come through. It's also why, people will do past life regression works. I do past life regression with clients. What they bring through when they listen to it after, they're astounded. They've had people speaking other languages, giving so much extreme details about these other lifetimes, and then they go, okay, now I get it. Once someone has started working inside of hypnosis, or theta brainwave state, or the hypnagogic state, often it takes a partner, it takes a coach, it takes a medium, whatever it is, to open those doorways. A lot of people use plant medicine. What they're able to see inside of using plant medicine, then they're like, okay, now I get it. And then those doorways remain open for them. One of the pieces of why Neville wanted to continue this was he believes that we are all headed to this place where we all are channeling. And so he's using this channel, and me personally as a channel, in order to make that available to everybody. That new understanding, where before it was read Neville's books, memorize them, follow what he said. He's saying, no, here's the updated addition to that.
And the truth is, I think when you read his works and you listen to him, there's a part of us that are actually channeling in that moment, whether we even realize it or not, that we're kind of taking on that energy and knowledge.
And those are called activations. And that is absolutely true. As are many when you read other books that are channeled text. If those are read by the author in the audiobook, you are getting those activations.
Yep. So I guess the moral of the story is you design the life how you want to. You, Michaela, in this life,
yes,
have designed your life to do this amazing work. That's your choice.
And to activate others into the truth that they too can walk that path where they set down all these limiting beliefs of who we think we are from a small point of view.
And everything is metaphor. Some people take the Bible literally. Some people take Akashic records, maybe literally. It's all energy, it's all metaphor, it's all what we create and how we perceive it to be.
Well, and Neville uses that as an example too in the conversation that I had with him this morning around, he's like, if you took the law of assumption, it has to get to you somehow. His books are what got it to people in the first place. Now, if you were that literal, you'd say, I'm not even allowed to read those books because someone else wrote them. So this is the same. Channeling him, it's just a continuation of, we all have to have that bridge show up from somewhere. And other people are the way that this often happens, through other humans. Then we get connected to source. It's like we are the modem, where each of us, those that are moving in this, on this ascension path, which I believe all humans are moving on an ascension path, maybe by, different ways of getting there. Okay, I just want to help.
No, I just want to close it out.
Okay.
I think we've said a good amount. It's been like 30 minutes. It's good.
Yeah, it was this wonderful opportunity to go, oh yeah, I have a fear that people are mean and going to do something to me because of my gifts. Like, it's just so interesting. It's like all of a sudden, if you look at everything as simply an assignment.
Well, let's get vulnerable as Michelle and Michaela. Do you have a fear about people judging your gifts?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I have been psychic. I mean, I remember at 3 and 4, there were, my room was filled as I was falling asleep. My room just filled up each night with people who were stuck between realms, who had died and had not crossed over yet, coming and begging me to help them. And I was terrified. And I didn't tell anybody for many, many years because I was very worried that would mean that I was crazy and that I would get, rejected by family, teachers, friends. And so I hid it. And it's a very real thing. It's called the witch wound, which is we carry trauma from many lifetimes into this one, as well as this one, of if you have these abilities, the first thing that happens is people saying, like, who do you think you are that you have them and you're so special and the rest of us don't?
Yeah.
We do have them.
And just because you can channel Neville or channel others, entities, energies, it doesn't mean that you still aren't going through your own ascension process.
And I just see it personally as I'm no different than someone who has the job of an interpreter between different languages. Just because I'm saying the information doesn't mean I'm of the information. I'm not the all-enlightened one just because words are coming out of my mouth that are prolific. I don't even consider them mine. I'm just channeling what I was told to say. That is very different than embodying. Now, much of it I do then try to live, certainly, but it's not that I'm of them because I'm saying them.
Yeah. So I guess you should just say thank you to yourself for leaving those comments.
Yeah. Thanks, other aspects of me, right? Yeah. Yeah, so the everything is us pushed out is really quite interesting. But I'm starting to understand it so much more, that it's all of the aspects of us, all of the parts that we hold are very difficult for us to work through and heal and transmute while they're just inside us, so we externalize them. And so if you really just see everything in your life as this is a play and these are the characters and you're the director and it's fascinating, then you stop taking things so personally. Is actually the word assumption or assuming. I couldn't quite figure out really the power of it, and he explained it to me in saying assuming is the same thing as certainty. When you assume something, it's certainty. And so he's saying that's really, if you can interchange those two words, that your certainty of things, the way that you connect dots, he's like, you need to unwind it all. You need to take everything apart and start over with what you want. So take everything apart, recreate. He's like, the imagination is your superpower. But the way that we go through the world, connecting so many dots and making so many assumptions, is really where the power is, because it's like, it's just, he's saying the law and assumption or assuming are also kind of the same thing. He's like, whatever you assume, you basically make it a law. He's the one who first started having me use the phrase governing laws, that your entire subconscious are basically like these governing laws that run your entire life. But you get to scrap them. You get to start over, but to see where you make these assumptions, doing it from this playful, curious place is where you're going to have the most success.